Hey guys, welcome back to Ion Radio. Ken here, interrupting our normal Friday battle report for a quick preview look at our Star Trek Into the Unknown series and the upcoming Rising Tensions campaign pack. I just got back from Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio, and I had an opportunity, although kind of a short one right before the demo started, to talk with John Shaffer from WizKids all about Star Trek Into the Unknown. Let's take a quick look at what he covered. Hey everyone, Ken from Ion Radio here at WizKids with John Shaffer. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Trek Into the Unknown. We've got some new models that I'm excited to look at from the new Rising Tensions kit. So what can you tell us about the Rising Tensions kit just to begin with, and then we'll take a look at the models.
Well, it's a campaign expansion for the game, so it introduces the Klingon faction. It's got a Bird of Prey and a Vorta class in it. It also has a Miranda class and another Defiant class, but this one is not the USS Defiant, it's the USS Valiant. So it has its own unique title card, it has its own unique designation and paint and deco and stuff on it as well. So we're going to plan to do that with future ships when we reprint them, is do some additional deco and stuff.
So this is kind of fun, guys. I'm looking at these models, look great. You've got some close-ups that you're probably seeing right now instead of me, which is great. So let's get to those models.
I'm here doing a bunch of demos today for Star Trek Into the Unknown, and we happen to just get all of the ships in for Rising Tensions. We have a copy of the expansion in the booth, like an early production copy. And this particular expansion introduces Klingons as a playable race in the game as a faction. It also includes a Defiant class and a Miranda class in it. What's cool about this Defiant class in particular is that it has different markings on it. So this is actually the USS Valiant instead of the USS Defiant. And then you've also got the Bird of Prey here. The coolest thing about this is that we actually made the wings able to move. So you can have them in the different positions if you want to for attack positions.
That's cool. Which
is super neat. And then the Vorta class is a larger kind of support cruiser. So these are the first two ships for the Klingon Empire. Currently you can use them as allies. And then when the additional expansion comes out, you could also use them as a standalone faction as well, because you'll get additional officers and things that'll help bulk it all out. So cool. Right now it's pretty much designed around utilizing the sway mechanic, which I don't know if you've read very much about that in particular, but we have an article that's going to be going up on our website here soon about that. But that is essentially utilizing officers within your roster to provide access to other factions, so Cardassians, Klingons, etc.
With Rising Tensions, since you're only getting the two Klingon ships in the box, and you get the two new Federation ships, are all the campaign scenarios built around having two ships in your fleet, or can it be used with more, moving in with the core set?
Moved in more with the core set, yeah. This one's kind of designed to be integrated with the core set with full fleets, so as opposed to the first few scenarios of the original campaign, which kind of like introduced only a few ships at a time and then kind of built up to a full fleet. This is assuming that you've kind of gotten to that point, you understand the game well enough that you can incorporate like a full roster into your game.
Cool. And now with the addition of the Valiant model, the Defiant class, I'm assuming we're going to see a couple new Federation ships with different registry numbers. Are we going to do similar with the Klingons, with maybe more Birds of Prey, other Vortas that look a little different?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a ship pack that's coming out with this product that actually has a cloaking effect version of the Bird of Prey. So it's kind of like a cool translucent, has a kind of a cool iridescent shimmer to it. Neat. Yeah, super cool. So that is a standalone ship pack where you get one standard Bird of Prey and then one cloaked version in there as well. And then it has like kind of just the base game materials and stuff that you need. Most of the ship packs, what we do is we don't pack a bunch of kind of new campaign content and stuff in there. We mostly give you the primary stuff that you need to just field that ship in the game. And then we reserve most of the campaign content for the main range releases as we go. So primarily ship packs are designed to be a product that you can get the ships if that is your main focus. If you're just a collector of the miniatures yourself, it's a good entry point for you to get those ships at the lowest price you can.
And then the campaigns, or the what are you calling it? Not the mission packs.
Campaign guide?
Are they actually called campaign packs?
Campaign guides, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a campaign guide in there, and that will continue out the current campaign. I think it also has the roster sheets and the other materials to do a standalone Klingon faction. So I kind of misspoke earlier. If you wanted to, you could buy 2 copies of Rising Tensions and play with the ships out of there. So like two 2 Vorchaws and, 2 Birds of Prey, however you wanted to do it. As long as the roster points and everything add up.
Or you can pick up one of the ship packs with some of the Klingon stuff and
Correct.
be able to add it in that way.
Yeah, totally.
To the kit. Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. This product also introduces cloaking mechanics, which is a really cool and exciting aspect of the game. We don't have any of the stuff to show off for that just yet. We're going to save that for a little bit later, but it's really interesting. It kind of has like this almost battleship effect where you know the perfect positioning of your ships, and your opponent is kind of guessing based on like a counter that's on the table where the real positioning is. So we'll have some articles and some information about that in the future. It should be really cool.
The other really kind of exciting thing that I'm excited about for this particular product is that we all know that the Klingons have cloaking technology.
Right.
And these ships actually allow you to cloak them, and they have a really unique kind of counter that you use where you're going to have the perfect information of where the ship is located, and then you put on the table a counter to represent where the ship is. You remove the actual ship model, and then your opponent is kind of guessing based on like firing torpedoes in your direction or moving close to them where their actual location is, and they can kind of take an action and then come out of cloak. It's a really interesting, cool mechanic that kind of like brings up some kind of battleship vibes, kind of we're guessing where their perfect location is.
A1,
it's same sort of thing. It's mostly based on like quadrants and distances from the token itself. Very cool. But we'll have some articles and stuff about that in the future. Cool. Also coming up, we're introducing a new faction to the game, so a lot of players are like, well, how do we integrate them into my current collection?
Right.
What's cool about this game is that most of the factions that we release that are not the Dominion or the Federation can be allies for either side through a sway mechanic where you essentially have to take officers that will then unlock things, like Worf, for example, will unlock the Klingons for the Federation. So these products are exciting because they can be played by either side, and as they come out, you don't really feel like you need to be so faction locked into the things. Like, I'm only ever interested in the Federation stuff. Hopefully that all these things will provide great new tactical options for either side.
Excellent. John, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. Stay tuned, guys, because we'll get information on the Rising Tension set and, of course, any of the ship packs. And I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that cloaked Bird of Prey, because that just sounds really cool. And these birds, just real quick.
Of course.
Check it out, guys. I'll get a close-up, but they go up. Yeah. That's just neat. I'm loving these minis. They're great. But stay tuned, guys. Tons coming here from Ion Radio on Star Trek Into the Unknown. So the demo scenario was an outstanding one as an intro to the game. Not only do all 3 ships from the core set get onto the table, but I felt as though there was kind of this constant push and pull, tug of war in terms of trying to win the scenario. At least we were playing the Dominion side. That's how it felt out. But while I was waiting to get some additional pictures of the miniatures, I was able to observe a couple learning how to play the game. They're playing out the scenario, same complication. And with the amount of fun that they were having, it was so tangible. It was great just to sit there and be a spectator. So if you are going to make it to Gen Con and have any interest in trying out Into the Unknown, I strongly encourage you to sign up for one of the demo games. So let's take a quick look at the scenario in its totality. Scenario name is Shattered Stars, a binary system map with all 3 ships from the core set in play. There are rules for including this mission into a campaign, as well as a selection of officers to set up the game as an introductory or standoff scenario. On the Federation side, we have the reliable commander on each vessel, along with Picard on the Enterprise, Sisko on the Constellation, and Jadzia Dax on the Defiant. For the Dominion, the female changeling Wei Yun and Omet Iklan are our main officers, along with a Vorta supervisor on each ship. Anomalies are placed out on the board and have their normal assortments of randomized capability and situations, but for the first half of the mission, both sides are looking to come to the aid of survivors that are in the sector. These are all at the 5 objective points located throughout, 2 in each system and 1 in deep space. Once all 5 objective points have a control marker, or the end of turn 3 happens, we move into the complication. This packet includes 2 alternative complications, one for new players, this is the one we used during the demonstrations, and one that introduces new mechanics to the game. In this series, the Federation mission will add hails, whereas the Dominion mission adds away teams. In the demo game, a Federation complication has players attempting to analyze and come up with treatments for a dangerous pathogen. A mutual loss is possible. For the Dominion complication, this is the one that I got to play, it was a tug of war to control 4 locations by securing sites. This was an exciting endgame as there were opportunities for both sides to win before the game ends at round 6. So rules for the scenario are on the Ion Radio Discord in the Into the Unknown channel. Outside of the scenario, I was also able to take a ton of pictures of the miniatures. We're going to see those next. The Valiant miniature was not with them, it was just the base Defiant, but as John had mentioned, this is going to be the Valiant in the Rising Tensions box. So I have all of the 3 other ships, the Miranda-class USS Trial, the Klingon Bird of Prey with the movable wings, and the Vorcha battlecruiser. So one last note, and I want to make sure that I include this. Congratulations are in order. At Origins, Star Trek Into the Unknown won Best Core Miniature Games. It's the part of the Origins Awards. So that's a big accomplishment and a huge success. So big shout out to both Max Brook and Michael Gurnitz, designers of the game. The award is definitely well deserved. So stay tuned to Ion Radio as John and I are going to move our Into the Unknown campaign into this new mission as our next episode. We'll have more information on campaign expansions and the new ship packs. Definitely a lot going on here with Star Trek from WizKids. If you want to be notified as we get more information out, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell to get the alerts when content drops. Till next time, I'm Ken saying thank you so much for watching, where you've been checking out the Rising Tensions preview for Star Trek Into the Unknown here on Ion Radio.